Does anyone else just feel like they have been scammed with life? Is it just me? Is it just me? No, I know it's not just me. I know a lot of people like myself feel scammed with life. They tell us to go to school. Well, no, they don't tell us. They force us. Like kindergarten through 12th grade, unless we drop out, they force us to go to school, learn a bunch of bullshit that's never going to be applied in your real life. The only thing that the only stuff that you'll actually maybe apply in your life that you learn in like K through 12 is, you know, obviously learning how to speak, writing, reading, you know, like the basic math, and, you know, some of the sciences like biology, chemistry, you know, things of that nature. But they teach you a lot of nonsense that that nobody's going to use in their life. I can't think of a single time where I've had to get to use the Pythagorean theorem to get this number for this or whatever. It's like, what's the Pythagorean? I think it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I've never used that in my life since I've graduated high school. Like, I mean, maybe measurements, like getting actual like measurements, but just measuring like the length and the width and the thickness or whatever. I mean, that can be useful for if you're making stuff, for people who are like making products like glass or wood products or whatever it may be. But they teach us a lot of useless shit that is not going to be like, they don't ever teach anything about finances. They don't teach about budgeting. They don't teach any of that. And then, you know, if our parents aren't teaching it to us, and the school's not teaching it to us, and then we get to that age of 18, which I'm well beyond that age at this point, but you get to that magical age of 18 where they consider you an adult, that you should just know all this stuff, or you should learn it all on your own. I just feel like life here is like everything has to be self-taught. You have to self-teach yourself. You have to self-teach yourself everything. Like, nobody wants to teach anymore. Same thing with a job, and then you get out into the job field. You know, it used to be where, you know, you find an entry-level job, you know, places would hire you to, you know, train you, give you an opportunity to learn a new skill, get experience, so then you can apply that elsewhere down the line. You can't even do that anymore in 2026. You can't do that. No places do that. They don't want to hire. They only want you to have experience. It's like, well, if someone doesn't have experience and nobody's willing to let them in the door to get experience, how can you ever expect them to get experience? Exactly, it's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to get experience if nobody will give them a chance. And I know I have felt this myself. I'm in school right now. I'm finishing my prereqs. And, you know, the goal is I'm trying to, like, get a job in the meantime, study on the side, study for that TEAS exam that I have to take for the program I want to get into for next year. And I don't know, I just can't help but thinking, like, I just have this looming feeling, this gut feeling that even when I do this, and if I get accepted into the program and get through the program and get the certification, I still feel like I'm gonna have such a nightmare trying to find a job. I so want to be wrong about that, but that's, you know, I'm going through hell just trying to get an entry-level job right now. And it's hell trying to get an entry-level job. So, like, if it's hell trying to get an entry-level job, then what does that mean it's going to be for, like, the higher-end jobs where you do get a certification? You do get, like, a piece of paper that says, I've been through this, I've trained, I've been through these programs, I know what I'm doing. You know, it's just, I just feel like everything is a scam. And I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I just feel like every way that the people in power, the elites, you know, the people who are running everything, the government, people who are controlling everything in society, all they do is squeeze us. They squeeze us and squeeze us and squeeze us. And, you know, we're seeing the results of that. We're seeing the result. People are tired. Americans are tired. There's no quality of life anymore. People are stressed constantly. There's all this financial pressure. There's all this financial stress. Nobody can afford anything. Most people have to have several roommates or live with their family because it's the cost of living and the job availability and the wages. It's laughable. The wages are laughable with the current cost of living that we are in 2026. So it's you know, people are being pushed to the limit. People are reacting. They're lashing out. People are like me. They're just really just giving up hope on humanity at this point. There's no hope. Like, I don't want to say there's no hope. Like, there are decent human beings that actually genuinely care about themselves and others around them. But, you know, a majority of people here, it's only about them. You know, well, my life's good, you know, so, you know, I got mine, my life's good. You know, that's the saying of the baby boomers. I got my piece of the cake, I'm good. Meanwhile, there's thousands and millions of other people that are like struggling and like starving and are one paycheck away from homelessness or the loss of a support system away from homelessness, and you know, they couldn't care less. And then like everything we do get now, like even now when you go to like the grocery stores, I mean, groceries are like outrageous. It's outrageous buying groceries. You know, a basic human need, you know, we need to get food, we need to eat in order to sustain our biological body. And people, I think people are just, they're starting to die quicker now because people, whether that's suicide or not, whether they're like, you know, ending themselves or not, people are so stressed. People are, like my generation, the younger generation, we are prematurely aging due to stress and pressure. Because this grind hustle culture, it's killing us. You know, the human body is the human body. We're not a machine. We're not a machine. We need breaks. Well, you know, even machines need breaks. You can't run a machine just forever and forever and ever, and it's never gonna, you know, malfunction. You know, my car is a common example of that. I've had to have my car is a 16-year-old car, and I've had to have a lot of stuff done with it. Now, luckily, the last two things I had done, me and my dad my dad helped me, and we were able to do it. All I needed to do was order the new parts, and that does save me a lot of money. So I am thankful for that. But this hustle grind culture is killing us. It's killing, because humans are not made for this. Yes, we do need to work. I'm not saying that humans should not work. I do think working is good, but we should not have to be pushed to where we have to work day and night to barely survive, to keep doing that over and over again. We're going to burn out. People are burning out. They're crashing out because the human bodies need rest. Human bodies are not made to be constantly stressed and under so much pressure. And, you know, the mind is a powerful thing, but when it gets pushed beyond a certain limit, even the mind starts to snap. And you know, we're seeing that nowadays. I mean, people are losing it. Americans are losing it because everybody's just like, I'm tired of working my tail end off and I'm not advancing. There's no upward progression. This is like the cost of living. This is the cost of living. And then this is like the wages. Almost flat to like almost stagnant. People can't afford anything. They can't afford an apartment. They can't afford a house. Most people in my generation, keyword I said most, I know there's some that have either made something of themselves and they've become very successful, or they inherited a lot of wealth. But most people in my generation and all the younger generations, like, the only way we're probably ever going to afford a house is inheriting a house from our parents when they pass. And that's just such a depressing thing to think about. It's like, I know I'm going to lose my parents one day, but the fact that, like, the only way that I'm going to ever get a house is having to inherit it from my parents when they die, like, that is just depressing. Everything is just depressing here. Everything is taxing. Everything is stressful. And because of the immense stress, people are having more mental health issues. People don't have a high quality of life anymore. You know, I learned about this in anatomy, because I'm taking anatomy. I'm in anatomy 2, about to finish it. We learned about we just went through the endocrine and the reproductive. And specifically with the endocrine, we learned about your adrenal gland. You know, there's little glands above your kidneys. There's technically 4 parts, but there's like 2 main parts. There's the adrenal cortex and the adrenal medulla. The adrenal medulla is the inner part. That's just primarily responsible for releasing epinephrine. You know, when your sympathetic fight or flight nervous system is activated, that releases the epinephrine, gets you alert for fight or flight. Well, there's also the adrenal cortex, which has 3 separate zones. There's like the zona glomerulosa, the zona fasciculata, I don't know if I'm saying it right, and the zona reticularis. And the zona fasciculata, it's like that middle section of the cortex, produces the, you know, cortisol hormone, which is the stress regulating hormone. So like that hormone is very important for managing and dealing with long-term stress. You know, so it's beyond, you know, a simple little fight or flight situation. It's like prolonged stress. The cortisol hormone is critical because it helps your body produce energy, mainly via gluconeogenesis, which is, it's the process of when you get sugar from non-carb sources. So like it breaks down fats or proteins in your body to get sugar, because you need the sugar for the energy when you're in prolonged stress. We are in prolonged stress constantly. Americans nowadays, prolonged stress. You know, financial, just the overall climate, you know, the lack of opportunity, our purchasing power is nothing compared to what our parents had when they were our age. And we're stuck in this perpetual long-term stress, and it's killing us. It's aging us. It's causing us sickness, because stress causes you sickness. When you have ongoing stress that doesn't get resolved and you don't get relief from, your body can only take so much. And when you are in prolonged stress for prolonged periods, I learned about this too. There's the 3 phases of stress. There's the acute, so that's like the acute, you know, stress. That's like, you know, a quick little fight or flight. And then there's the resistance phase, which is a little longer. You know, the cortisol goes really into effect because you need it for the energy to get you through the stressful time. And then you have the exhaustion phase. And that's the phase where your body is no longer producing, it's either not producing cortisol or it's not producing enough cortisol. And because if you lack cortisol at that point, your body, your organs, you're going to start shutting down. It's called exhaustion. And I think that's happening to a lot of people nowadays. People are literally dying. They're just dying sooner because of the stress. They're aging prematurely. I mean, it's just a nightmare. Overall, it's just a collective nightmare. And, you know, like I said, I feel like it's just a big scam at this point. I don't care about any of this at this point. I don't care. I feel like I've been robbed. I've been scammed. I've been forced here into all of this. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. But how things have gone, it's like I definitely don't want it. And I definitely will never subject another life form to this. I won't. I am never gonna. This is what blows my mind, is when I see people like me and my younger generations. They know how horrible things are right now. They know how stressful. They know how expensive everything is now. And they're just like, oh, I'm gonna have a kid. Your kid will have no future here. There's no future here. Do yourself a favor and your kid a favor and don't have them. Now, granted, I know when my parents had me, things were not this bad. It's really more like the more recent people who are having children. It's like stop. Just stop. Because you're just bringing them into a broken, cruel, twisted place that is run by narcissists, that is run by people who have no compassion, no sympathy, no empathy. And it's like bringing wood into a burning building. That's really how I feel. Anyone who's having children now, you're bringing wood into a burning building. And this is why I can never, it goes beyond my own dislike of children and not really wanting children myself. Even if I were to want children, I think seeing how everything's going now, it would have made me oh, I don't really know if I want a kid anymore. I don't know. Why would I want to bring somebody else into this hell? For shits and giggles? I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I know a lot of you guys are too. I know I'm not the only one with these thoughts and feelings. I know I'm not. I try to see the positive. I know that there are positives. I love my family. I, love the few really close friends that I have. There are things I do like in this life, and people that I adore, things I adore, love. But overall, it just seems like the crap of this world just supersedes that. It blocks it out. And I just feel a lot of despair and sadness and anger and frustration about the way everything is right now. And I just feel like I'm having a normal reaction, a normal response. But yet some people will tell me that, oh, you're just crazy. It's not that bad. They just try to dismiss me and many others, how we're feeling. It's it's just imagine somebody getting shot, and it was a very traumatic experience for them. They got shot, or they got stabbed, or they got assaulted. And, people just say, oh, well, it's not that bad. You're still here. You're still breathing. It was not that bad. It's tone deaf. It's tone deaf. To the person who went through the trauma, yes, people can heal from trauma, but it's some things don't really ever fully go away. And, it's just really insensitive to say things like that. It's insensitive to just say things like that. You're missing the point. The person went through trauma. When they hear or see or certain things happen, it triggers a response into them. That's literally what PTSD is. It's called post-traumatic stress disorder. Post meaning after a traumatic event. I don't know. I don't really have much anything else to say. This turned out to be a rather lengthy video, but I have to speak my mind. I just, all I can think of is just I'm ready for this to be over. Like, I mean, this game has gone on too long. You know, I'm a young person. I'm 28. I'm gonna be 29 very, very soon. My birthday is May 4th. And I see no life here. I see no future here. I see nothing for me and many other people here. I just do. I don't see anything. And, you know, I'm tired of being told that, oh, well, you're just negative and you need to change your thinking. Like, I have tried that. I have tried. But, you know, I mean, I'm not getting a lot of reassurance with the way things are going right now. And the mere fact that so many people are struggling. Anyways, I'm just gonna end it here because I've been rambling on for 21 minutes now. Hope you guys are doing well. Bye.